I can't say this anymore. So was there a time, yes, it happened slowly, but was there a moment that changed you and said, I can't do this anymore. I can't do it anymore?
I mean, I would say the phrase I can't do it anymore, for me, applies to a handful of policy issues that the Democratic Party has been championing that I don't agree with.
So there's no personal, there was no personal event or anything that happened in your life to where you went,
I mean, I was sexually assaulted by a homeless guy, right?
Okay.
Yeah, I was sexually assaulted by a homeless guy in Los Angeles in my neighborhood as I was walking my dog.
Oh my gosh.
And it was awful. I mean, I've talked about it multiple times. And look, I don't want to put myself in this position of being like this victim who's looking for empathy, but it is the moment where something very scary happened to me. And
I was surprised. Honestly, I don't think Glenn Beck, this is obviously Ana Kasparian on Glenn Beck, continuing this tour of trying to appeal to the non-left is what, obviously, if you're on Glenn Beck, on the Blaze, you're trying to appeal to the non-left. Ana Kasparian and the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur, Ana Kasparian, both running around doing it. And here's my take on it. I'm going to let this go. My take on it is, this is what, if Comcast wants to get involved, MSNBC, they spun it off, but they would need to get Mika and Joe Brzezinski on these type of shows, on Glenn Beck, on Tim Pool. Ana Kasparian's, here's what we're going to hear here. Ana Kasparian's interview with Glenn Beck was wild. So stay tuned for it. She's known for all these liberal, leftist, populist left takes on the Young Turks. But she sat down in person with Glenn Beck, major conservative, pro-New Jersey-sized country, pro-Ben Shapiro, funny hat country. And Ana Kasparian is not there to challenge him. She's there to agree with him at times. And I have no problem with that. Let's go. Glenn Beck, Ana Kasparian. We're going to break this down.
Why did that?
It wasn't just that had happened to me. It was the reaction I received from a faction of the left, okay? The social justice left, if you want to call it that, who think that, you know, in some cases, the criminals are actually the victims and the victims are the criminals. Like, it's insane. And I don't know how big this faction is, but they're loud enough to push me away completely. And so it wasn't that had happened to me. It was the reaction of the left and how they were far more concerned with me talking about it because they felt that was stigmatizing the homeless community. I have never gone out of my way to say negative things about homeless people. I mean, people who are living out on the streets are, in a lot of cases, victims who need help, right?
Yes.
But I was victimized by a guy that was strung out on something, could have been meth, you know, he was jerking around as he was walking toward me with his buddy. And
gosh, I'm so sorry. I didn't.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. But it took a while for me.
I really don't think Glenn Beck is not that type of dude. He's a very upstanding dude. Because everyone watching this who has watched the Ana Kasparian tour knows that this is the incident that she has brought up, and the way that he kind of pressed on it, I don't think he had any idea.
To get over that, because I still have to walk my dog, and so multiple times a day, I literally have to think about that incident. And so I thought maybe it would help to talk about it. And then when I did talk about it, I totally regretted it because I was shocked at the way people reacted to me. But what that...
The left is savage. What Ana Kasparian is talking about is the left was mad at her that she got allegedly violated by a homeless dude. That's how Ana Kasparian, that's why, if you want to know one of the reasons Ana Kasparian left the left, it's because she got, however you want to describe it, accosted, violated, something wrong happened to her, as she described here, from a homeless person in the street. She said, I'm not happy with this. And the left said, it's your fault. The left said, you're the intolerant one. The left said, you don't understand our policies anymore. The left said, we have to leave you. Mondale Robinson went ham on TYT. Is this what upsetted you, Mondale? That she didn't want to get violated by a homeless guy in the street?
That moment taught me was some of the characteristics of the quote unquote left that I thought were good, right? Like the kindness, the open-mindedness, the willingness to go out of your way to look out for people who need help, like that kind of stuff. There's a portion of the left that has shed those characteristics. They've taken on a more nihilistic approach to things, and they don't even believe in reforms. They just believe that everything about every political system, every program we have, every institution we have is just worthless and we need to burn it all down. Okay. So that nihilistic nature, I think, leads to a lot of really bad.
I struggle with this. Ana Kasparian's laying it out and saying that they want everything to come down. That sounds like the anti. We talk about fascists. It's the group that's it's supposed to be anti-fascist. That sounds like them. But I don't see that. The left, to me, wants to consolidate power to the government more. They don't want less power to the government. They want more power to the government. And I think there's some arguments to have, for example, healthcare. I am for a basic coverage of healthcare from the government. And typically I am a decentralized person. But in that case, I really think the government should be more of an administrator. It should be decentralized because you've got a bunch of different people looking for healthcare, all the citizens in the country, and the government doesn't do anything other than administrate it. But what the left wants is more laws. We want laws for this group and that group, and there's not enough civil rights for this group and that group, and we need more legislation for this group and that group, all amounting to more money spent and more power with the central government. So I don't agree that they say burn it down. I think they want more power for themselves and the government.
Add ideas and terrible behavior online, and that's pushing people out, pushing people away. And I
don't have any problem with terrible behavior online. It's more about what is the purpose of it. I might not agree with it. I might agree with it. I have terrible, maybe it's because I have terrible behavior online. I'm biased here, but I don't have problem with terrible behavior online.
I mean, you look at places like Los Angeles, for instance, right? Or Cook County, which is where Chicago is. I paid very close attention to Cook County and what the election results were going to be in Cook County, because you have an influx of migrants going to Chicago, right? You have a lot of anger.
I will say this, and I'm going to let her finish here in a second, just so I know for a fact what she's talking about is accurate. I have family in Chicago. This was a while back, and I posted about it a while back when I was in Chicago. Literally saw the migrants, the illegals, piling onto the trains and actually being shipped out to the suburbs.
Among the black community in Chicago, because they've been nickel and dimed by their local government.
It's crazy.
And at the same time, their mayor, Brandon Johnson, is doling out the cash for migrants and justifying it. And so they're angry. And so I'm watching all of this happen, and I'm just like, Democrats need to wake up. Mm-hmm. Because more and more voters feel like they're being abandoned by the Democratic Party, economically speaking. And everyone got mad at me. Everyone's like, oh, you're anti-immigrant. I'm not anti-immigrant. I'm not anti-immigrant.
Immigrants built this country.
Yes, my parents are immigrants.
Yes.
Okay, I am not anti-immigrant. But I do have a problem with...
My parents are immigrants too, Jamaica.
The Biden administration neglecting the border, pretending like there wasn't a migrant crisis at all, allowing these municipalities to be inundated with migrants without any federal resources to deal with the problem. And what? We're going to pretend like that's not going to cause electoral harm? Of course it is. So
you have to listen to Ana Kasparian now. And this is my final takeaway from this is the tour that they're going on, whether you think they're believable or not, genuine or not, authentic or not, they are getting a lot of views from doing this. They are making a lot of sense. There's nothing she said in this clip here that I disagree with. And I'm not going to disagree with her just to disagree with her. So they are very relevant right now. They are making themselves more relevant. I don't know if that will show in views. I'm not a great marketer myself. I don't know about all that. But I do know for sure they are more relevant now than they would be if they were doing Ben Dixon or Kyle Kalinske or Crystal Ball type garbage. You tell me, are they more relevant? This clip here, I just want to start with this. Is there anything that she said or positioned here or anything about this clip that you disagree with?